We're in Charot Room. I don't have my other kids, so it's just me, Queen Mother. No, it's not. That's not anymore. The Queen Charotera Lee. That's what I meant.
Oh, I'm Jen, Miss J.
And we have a guest. Well, two guests. Miss J is a guest, but she owns a channel, so technically she's not a guest. But we have another guest. They've been here before. Um, I want you here because I know you've been in the industry, the entertainment industry, that is for a while. And out of everybody that I've met, I think I've wanted to be your friend the most because and I know you're so in demand right now. We have Esmeralda.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for giving us part of your 30 minutes of your time or more, maybe.
No, well, great topics of discussion, I think. So I'm glad to be on.
I know what got us out of the shell and from hide. Well, I've been working, so I've also been busy and I've been learning a new job. So it's kind of crazy. Esmeralda's been super busy with juggling jobs and stuff.
Nice.
Yep. Busy before the holidays.
But recently, Elliot came out as trans. So we want to discuss that, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we did. They came out with a letter on, was it IG, right? And it's really well written letter, I think. And it covered a lot. Just, I was really, not that I was surprised, but it just, there's so much COVID stuff. So something to come out like an announcement of someone coming out as trans and in a kind of happy environment. I think that was kind of like a light during the week. Especially Elliot saying, this is a joyous moment, obviously, talking about their privilege and mentioning that, but obviously a happy moment for them. And so I think that's a great topic to start on.
What was your initial reaction? Because I know some people that are cis men that have a crush before on Elliot, saying like, "Oh, what now?" And it's just like when I heard stuff like that, I was like, "Oh, this narrative again. It's quite annoying."
Right.
But what was your first reaction when you heard about it? I was like, yes, so cool.
Yeah, I for one was ecstatic. I started seeing it pop up like little snippets, and then I went to Twitter, saw the tweet, and was just blown away. And also how well worded it was. Not like that means anything, but like everything is spelled out. Like you can't look at this letter and not know what Elliot's talking about and what Elliot is thinking.
Sorry about that. Yeah, stop it. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I felt the same. I haven't watched Umbrella Academy or kind of followed Elliot's career recently. So when I heard about the IG post, I was surprised. I'm like, oh, okay, great, awesome, good for them. And just positive energy. Considering I know we've just heard about like the violence happening related to COVID and abuse and people being in like a locked environment, I mean, just all this negative news. So I was just surprised that there's some positive news. I did kind of look into other people's responses overall, and a lot of I saw I think Lee, you mentioned that the dead name had popped up still, but I had seen even day one, a couple hours after the announcement, like Wikipedia had Elliot Page as Elliot on the page. IMDb hasn't changed it though, but they're always slow to do things. But what are you guys researched on that?
I watched something saying that I think all of the stuff that Elliot was in an Umbrella Academy, they're gonna change credits on that, which I think is really awesome because I knowing editing's kind of annoying to do. So for them to actually change, I think it's not going to be hard. For me, I'm not a good editor, so I think that's hard to do, especially, I mean, tedious to do, because it's a lot of episodes already kind of come out. But
that the series is going to be edited in a specific way.
Yeah, they're going to change the credit name of Elliot on.
Oh, I see.
Academy.
Okay.
So that's what I heard. I'm not sure if they're gonna do it, but like I thought like, oh God, that's a lot of work, but that's amazing that they're gonna do that. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
From what I've heard, they're like the cast and the crew of Umbrella Academy and the creator of Umbrella Academy is like super stoked and supportive of Elliot coming out. But the thing is also like, it's not only that's gonna affect Elliot. It's like the whole media and like the dead naming when they report it and stuff. Is it really like, for me, like the question is like, is it really important to mention the dead name when they report about stuff like that? Like, what's your opinion on it?
Go ahead.
Well, I don't think so, but I could see how the media might think of Elliot. I'm a millennial, so I grew up with Elliot, with Juno and stuff like that. So I understand as setting up the story, presenting their dead name in order to set up, the transition has been made to this name, formerly known as. I understand how that might be negative for someone else. So I have mixed feelings about that. I don't think it's completely necessary, but I can understand how the media, for just the initial story announcing, this person has transitioned, would mention their dead name. Those are my thoughts, but I don't think after the recent news comes out that it'll be necessary at all.
For me, it's like if you put a picture of his picture up and you say Elliot Page, and just put in parentheses Juno Umbrella Academy. That's like that's it. I don't think that you need to use a dead name in that instance, because I think that clarifies everything right there. To what Lee talked about earlier, Netflix actually already went back and replaced all the credits.
Oh, that's great.
So they weren't even like, they did it the next day.
That's amazing. Yeah. And Netflix is such a big company that they should be able to do that. And the fact that they made it a priority is great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But the question is that work? Is that a lot of work, or is it simple work for them?
What I don't remember about the credits on Umbrella Academy is if they're scrolling or if they're just pages. Because if they're just pages that pop up, then that's going to be really simple to do. But if it's scrolling, it's going to take slightly more work. You have to, I don't know, actually it probably ends up about the same. I just negated my own answer.
Yeah, they might have a system set up for credit, so
yeah,
I don't think it's too difficult. It's not like you're editing a scene, it's like the font or something. So I don't think that's too crazy. But I think just hearing the announcement, and I know Nikki Tutorials came out as transgender, but those were under not so positive circumstances. I think she had mentioned that someone was kind of blackmailing her, and she wanted to get ahead of the story and tell her story before someone else told it. So again, this was such an ideal environment for someone to come out, and the amount of support I saw, I think, was great. Obviously, there's another side that's completely always very negative and anti-LGBT, so that's kind of expected. But the fact that coming from like the earlier summer where Nikki came out and kind of was forced out versus Elliot coming out on their own terms, that's definitely great to see.
You're right. I forgot about Nikki.
I think that was earlier in the year. I can't really even remember between years 2019 and 2020.
Yeah, it's between those. Yeah, like it's such a mess. I think like we're all like in a Black Mirror episode, or some sort this year, because it's just so crazy. So my question to Esmeralda: how much does their transition, do you think, would affect their career? I mean, I know you've worked in a bunch of shows and stuff, and you've worked with a lot of people and high-ranking executives and stuff like that. Do you think it's gonna be a problem, or there's still gonna be a lot of, you know?
I don't know. Well, that's a good question, right? They're on a Netflix show, and Netflix is such a great vehicle to create other opportunities for them and make that also a priority. So that's an interesting question. Obviously, the hope is it doesn't affect their opportunities as much, but who's to say? The history has shown that unfortunately it does affect your career. But coming out of this whole situation, all of 2020, and Netflix even advocating for changing credits, making that change, hopefully with Netflix behind them, opportunities will keep coming, and other studios and other streamers will see, this doesn't have to affect someone's career. Those are my thoughts.
As an entertainer, Jen, do you think like that's gonna help your career or my career?
Honestly, I think that it's going to be good for our career. I mean, we have somebody who is coming out who isn't the other person that was named as the spokesperson for the trans community that so many people dislike in the community. And so I think that Elliot has such a following throughout their career path. I think it's just going to bolster us. I think it's also going to very much help the trans masculine side that often gets overlooked in so many spaces.
But also, Elliot, before even they announced their transition, they already have been very active with HRC and human rights and equal rights for LGBTQ.
Yeah.
So I think like it's like I feel like the person that, if we're thinking of the same person, it might have just became happenstance that they're such a big name and then they transitioned, so they became
right.
It just became like I always feel like our life, even though we don't want to be role models or spokesperson, sometimes it just becomes that way because we might be the only person that other people might know are trans or close to them that are trans, so it just becomes that way. But I feel like with Elliot, they already took responsibility into their hands way, way, way before. That's why them coming out for me is, I think, much more powerful in a sense, because they already have that history. And for sure, like especially with the letter that they wrote, that it's gonna continue. Definitely going to continue. They're already outspoken, like with a lot of issues before, and I already was just like a big fan of them because of their outspokenness about topics. So is it gonna help us? I'm not sure. I don't know. Like that's like still like I always think like I'm especially like this year, like I've been stuck at home and haven't been going on much auditions or whatnot. I feel like I haven't had too many opportunities. So I don't know. That's just me being selfish.
Oh.
Yeah, there's not a lot of work in general, but yeah, I understand. It's crazy.
I know. That's like, do you have any questions, Esme?
Do I don't think I do. I know that Elliot is kind of the first in my generation. Like Nikki Tutorials is more Gen Z, but someone that I grew up with. Yeah, I think so, right? I don't know.
I have no idea.
That's YouTubery. So I think that's like more Gen Z-y, whatever. But
you don't think YouTubery is like millennially?
I don't know.
think TikTok is like Gen Z.
That's true. That's true.
Girl, but don't age us more than.
Well, but my point was, Elliot's kind of someone that I grew up with. So it's, it is, I feel like it is very empowering to see someone of my generation kind of take the mantle and say, this is authentically who I am, and I'm, gonna try to make, just in the letter said, I'm gonna try to make this the best world I can for the people in my community. And everyone else that I've seen publicly that's come out has been a little bit older, or a generation before me, or someone that I haven't grown up with. So it's kind of, I'm really excited and very supportive, obviously, of anyone that wants to be their authentic self. But it's kind of, it hits differently, basically, when it's someone, you grew up with. You're like, okay, that's, and it feels more like a friend coming out, and you know what I mean? So that's just very interesting, I think.
Okay, so like this is, I don't know if like you guys have thought about this, but like for somebody who's transitioned, seeing yourself during your transition and before your transition, do you think, or like how would you feel if you were in Elliot's shoes, that you're still able to see yourself pre-transition in all of those movies or films that you've done, and pictures and photos, and it's like there for public consumption and use? You know what I mean? How would you feel? Because that can be triggering for me, especially, even though I've been already through transition for a long time, I didn't know like how triggering certain things can get. So like, how do you think that's gonna affect them? And how
Jen,
much
you're more of an entertainer, so you're kind of familiar with, I feel like you have more of that mentality. I'm scared of the camera. You've been doing this, a little fearful. So I understand. Even seeing myself, I don't like any state. But
girl, hush! You look like that's another reason why I want you to be on camera, because you're like my Ariana Grande friend. You have the Ariana Grande vibes. I feel like we're about ready to sing camera. I feel like we're about to sing Osana right now.
Yeah. Iconic. That was iconic.
Oh, for me, I think the fact it can definitely be triggering. Luckily for me, I didn't do anything entertaining until after I transitioned. So
that's not true.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That isn't true. I do have a YouTube channel.
500,000 views.
Yeah, I had a really good YouTube channel in the beginning, and it was all about action figure reviews and things like that.
Oh,
cool. It's not triggering for me because I knew where I was in that place in time when it happened. So we knew this was coming. So I think that's a difference. It's shocking to hear how deep my voice was on the old videos, but I don't share them often. But I'm also not afraid to share that channel. So it's a personal thing. Elliot, may or may not have that triggering aspect to them. Umbrella Academy, I thought that their character was already fluid enough that I don't think that's it. But yeah, when you go back and you look at
the younger years,
Whippet and Juno and some of those, that could be, because that's a very in your face with gender of that character.
But they can also think of they're just acting, right? At that
exactly
point. And then that can also make it like a bit of a difference. But like the thing that I fear for them, and I hope it doesn't happen, and is the people are gonna use that as an attack
right
against them. You know what I mean? And that's like more like, I think that's more triggering for me in a sense, because like it doesn't, I for somebody who's transitioned for a while, like even when I had to contact what you call this, airlines, and say like, because my father passed away and my birth certificate name still like different because you can't change it in the Philippines. So like when I had to say like my name now, my legal name now here in America, and my birth certificate in the Philippines like aren't the same, and I had to like reiterate that over and over and over again. It was just like, oh, I thought I'm okay saying this, but I'm not. It's kind of like taking me back to a place where I felt like hidden and lying. But I know, I don't know. Like, I mean, I hope for them, like, really, that they would be able to take back the power and use it for the better. Like, that's my opinion on it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I see. It's hard to foreshadow and predict how you'll react to anything. So, I don't know.
Like, that's why, like, I really think, and this is gonna sound cliche, but like, I really have like a lot of props for them, because it's like especially at this time, like when all of the stuff is coming out because of our current leadership and all of the discrimination and hate have been out. I'm like, I'm sorry to say, but I feel like a lot of it is because of our current like administration. There's just so much hate that's proliferated, and I feel like they've became more like they've been given permission to be more hateful.
Oh, I think that's exactly what it is the hate's been there, but they kept some kind of civil lid on top of it, and then you have an uncivil leader of the country, and that lid no longer exists. You can say whatever you want, and they even proclaim that when they say stuff like, this is Trump's America, I can say whatever I want to.
I feel like, that's true. It's not like it was not said before. It's just, okay, now you say it louder. You're trying to keep, it's definitely what you said. They're not keeping it under the lid, or if it's not just home talk, you know what I mean? Something that very explicit, public, and are permitted to be very public about, which is unfortunate because obviously that affects the public, and it's not just their family's ears, it's everyone else's who are affected by those words. It's crazy.
I mean, and I think it's that tune, and then and as we gain visibility, I think that then also now all of a sudden, trans people are more visible, so that also leads to more attacks because just because now it's a commonality.
Laverne Cox got attacked recently.
Exactly.
I mean, like, who would have thunk? Like that's also that's also scary. That opens them more towards like more discrimination. But aren't they Canadian though?
Elliot, I don't know. Maybe.
I'm not sure.
But that's a good point. There's this duality, right? I think the day or two before, Laverne Cox was had her experience, was attacked, and then a day or two later, Elliot comes out, and Elliot acknowledged, like, I'm in a very privileged position, and there's an example of it that happened a few days before. So it's interesting that someone can be comfortable in announcing who they are, but there's a consistent reminder that it's dangerous for anyone.
I was shocked. I was shocked actually by the Laverne Cox attack. I don't know if I should be shocked or not shocked. I'm disappointed, definitely. But she is such an out, persona that I'm like, to me at that point it makes no sense for someone like this on a hiking trail to question that. And I mean, let's go back to Saturday Night Live. She's a national treasure. That's it's Laverne Cox. How can you not get Laverne Cox?
Yeah.
Well, I guess because they were wearing a cap and sunglasses and being like, but then, there were just like people that were being hateful.
Exactly.
And it goes to show, like, even though you have success and stuff, you can still be a target and you can still feel trauma from it, especially like if you've already experienced that before. And I would imagine like Laverne has been through the ringer. Is that the right term?
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, I would understand why it would be traumatic, even though it like they came unharmed from it. Like it can still be very traumatic for them even to be close to being attacked. Like I said, like when I was calling the airlines, like those like few seconds. I mean, my dad passed away, so I was already depressed. Esmeralda was helping me a lot. They even talked, like, remember, even talked to the representative on the phone for me. But like, yeah, like every time I already had to mention my dad passed away, and then I had to mention my dead name, and it was just like, gosh, like, thank you for making me
compounded trauma, like for all things. I just want a refund. Come on, like why? I get it. No, I understand. And I understand that with Laverne, you expect a public figure to be protected in some way, but I guess the hate's so strong. That's unfortunate that it's
yeah, and I
unfortunately can't be as protected.
And Jen and I watched something on Hulu. I forgot what the show is called.
Oh, was it Defining Moment or something?
Defining Moments. Yeah. And then one of the people that were showcased was Dominique. And Dominique mentioned like Dominique, Mother Electra. Dominique mentioned that they had to hire a bodyguard so that they can walk the streets of New York.
Oh wow!
Safely, because like they're so out now, and like like the life that they've experienced before, everything that happened to them, they felt like now since it's there, and it's out in the open, that they needed somebody to protect them when they go out, so that they won't get harassed. And then that's just like sometimes the reality of stuff. You'll never know, and it's just so unfortunate that. That's an added expense, dude. Like you're an actor, like that's an added expense to like hire somebody to just like, or like have a friend come with you all the time. It's just like dumb. I'm like, I can't wait for Lizette, like Esmeralda, to be like out and just to be like, I'm a bodyguard. I have Bella.
Bella. She'll run away. She's will not. She will not help at all. She's not that type of dog. She's just there to look cute. Yeah. Oops. That's me. That's my alarm.
Well, what's going on?
Yeah, the house alarm's off. Oops.
Anyways, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Esmeralda. Is there any last words before we quit this talk? I really had fun.
Thanks.
I don't know. I hope that Elliot empowers someone else to embrace and come with their authenticity to the public.
Oh, of course they would. I bet you that there would be a lot of people. Like I feel already like super excited, and I can't wait to see how their career is gonna be, because I think, aren't they like one of the bigger like celebrity actors that has like such an amazing career already?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely.
So I feel like that's something like really to look forward to, because like I know they're gonna have a lot of on their shoulders, so lots of positive energy from all of them.
But I think they acknowledge that they would have a lot on their shoulders and are willing to carry that weight. So I think that's like the greatest thing. The letter was so inspiring because it wasn't about Elliot specifically just coming out, but about the community that they're bringing with them and trying to uplift as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's why like all the positive energy and just like looking forward to what they can do. And also we're like, that's why we want to talk about it, so that we can help in this little tiny way, like to 20, 30, 40 people that watch this. Maybe more. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any last words, Esmeralda?
No, thank you for
Looking
having
very-
me.
Looking very Ariana as always.
Dork, thank you.
Y'all,
Y'all, you look lovely as well.
You can't say, like, people who are watching, like, you just have to comment how pretty Esmeralda is.
I have a brain, you know, too.
Well, that's what's more annoying.
You.
That's what's more annoying about it, because like you're studying both like intellectually, physically, and also like in the inside, because like you're super kind and you're also trying to make a change.
I think we all are here, so I think that's why I love being involved in these kind of talks, because it's always, you know, just having a conversation about what's going on and hopefully what change is coming, you know.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you for watching Charot Room. If you've made this, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and tell Esmeralda that they're beautiful inside and out. And also Jen, and also me, because I need the validation. Bye.